Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. So I do believe that Manchester United have improved in the transfer market, under Ole Gunnar Solsjaker. What I mean is, we have been a bit more sensible with our recruitment. Obviously, so far Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has enjoyed 3 transfer windows at Manchester United. Didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window, but in the 2 previous transfer windows, he has, recommended 5 players in and spent around £220 million. Now, obviously, last summer, Solskjaer, recommended Daniel James in for around £15 million. I think, there was also add-ons included, but that was the first signing, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had made. And I've got to say now, I think Daniel James has done really, really well. Yeah, like I said, he enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Hasn't been, to his potential best in the last couple of months or so. Obviously, before the football season got suspended. But I do believe that Solskjaer has been overplaying Daniel James a little bit. But, you do tend to see the best of Daniel James on the left-hand side. That's where you see the best of him. But, we've played him on the left. We've also played him on the right. I think he can also play as an attacking midfield, and there's some aspects of Daniel James's game that do need to improve, don't get me wrong. His tracking back needs to improve, and possibly, his crossing does need to improve. But he was the first signing Solskjaer made. Obviously, the second signing he brought in was Wan-Bissaka. We paid £45 million for Wan-Bissaka, and I'm glad, we did get that right back in that we needed. Like I said, Wan-Bissaka's defensive contributions also been very, very good. It's always been good. But, before the football season got suspended, we started to see the attacking side of his game. So that's also positive. And Wan-Bissaka only broke in, to the seniors, in Crystal Palace's senior squad back in February 2018. But I think at Man United, he's replicating, what he did do at Crystal Palace. The third signing Solskjaer recommended in was Harry Maguire. We did pay £80 million for Harry Maguire. Obviously, he's the club's second most expensive signing. And, he's the most expensive centre-half in the world. And I think Harry Maguire's done really, really well. You can say we overpaid for him a little bit, but I think, we did make the right decision by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy on a permanent basis. We're giving the captaincy reflecting on Ashley Young's departure. So Maguire's done really, really well. And obviously, in January, Solskjaer brought Bruno Fernandes in for £65 million with add-ons included. And I've got to say, Bruno Fernandes, has made the difference in the team. Bruno Fernandes has got 3 goals and 4 assists. Don't forget he got Premier League Player of the Month for February, reflecting on his good run of performances. And he's got a 5.5-year contract with Manchester United. But Bruno Fernandes is very instrumental. His decision-making is very, very good. And, he's definitely, making the difference in the team. Don't forget, recently, Bruno Fernandes was talking about what convinced him, to sign for Manchester United. And it was, reflecting on the attitude of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So, Bruno Fernandes has got a lot of faith in Solskjaer. But definitely, he's done really, really well. I think we need to keep Bruno Fernandes in his predominant position, because if we put him as a central midfielder or a holding midfielder, that's when he could become a liability. But Bruno Fernandes is definitely the best player we've recruited in since the Alex Ferguson era. And obviously, of course, we brought Odion Ighalo in on loan. It does remain uncertain at the moment, whether we're going to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. It has been revealed how much it'll cost us to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. It will cost us around £15 million. So yeah, he is a cheap solution. It did say today from the mainstream media that he'll have to take a pay cut of around £200,000. If we are to get him on a permanent transfer, because when he was at Shanghai Shenhua, his contract Shanghai Shenhua, is worth around £300,000 a week. And we're paying like a third of his wages at the moment. I think we paid around 3 or 4 million to get him on loan. Don't forget, the other week Shanghai Shenhua offered him around £400,000 a week, plus a 2-year contract extension to convince him to turn down a permanent move to Man United. But Ighalo did say that he wanted to remain at the football club. But he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. He's got 4 goals in 3 starts. He is the vocal point. And he's a very, very good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. So I've got to credit, the players that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has brought in so far. So yeah, we have improved in the transfer market, under Solsjaker. Because obviously, we've been criticised for, a number of years now, for, the with us overpaying for players, because we have overpaid for players in recent years. Obviously, we paid £8 to £9 million for Paul Pogba, who's our most expensive signing at the moment. We paid £50 million for Fred. Fred, was very, very poor under the Jose Mourinho era, but there again, he never really got his opportunities under the Jose Mourinho era. But this season, he's done really, really well, and he's been given his opportunities under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so Fred does deserve a lot of credit. Obviously, we paid £40 million for Nemanja Matic, so yeah, you can say we overpaid for him. And when we did sign Nemanja Matic, he wasn't our first choice. It was like our third choice was Matic. Matic has recently rejuvenated himself. Don't forget, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract the other week, but that was reflecting on his good run of performances. Matic is now into his third season at the football club. So yeah, you can say, we overpaid for Nemanja Matic. You can say we overpaid for Harry Maguire because we paid £80 million for him. So yeah, we are known for overpaying for players in recent years and that. But yeah, we've definitely, improved in the transfer market, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because like I said, our recruitment policy has been poor for several years. And I want to talk with you a bit more about Ed Woodward. Obviously, Ed Woodward is determined to stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the foreseeable future. I don't know if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the long-term future at Manchester United, but Ed Woodward is determined to stick by him for now. Now, obviously, Ed Woodward has been at Manchester United since 2012, is it? So now he's been at the football club 8 years. Obviously, a lot of United fans have been criticising him, especially, earlier on in the season. Obviously, we've criticised Ed Woodward, for the, number of players that we've brought in, because a lot of players that we have brought in haven't been the right calibre players for Manchester United. Also, too, he's been criticised, for the managers he's brought in and also the sacking of managers as Ed Woodward. Obviously, Man United are not considering appointing a director of footballing as yet. Maybe we will do at some point in the future, but don't forget, revert back to last summer, we was in search for a director of football, but obviously, we didn't get one in, and there was quite a few former Manchester United players, linked with the director's role. There was obviously Van der Sar, linked with the role. There was Evra linked with the role. There was Rio Ferdinand linked to the role. Also, too, Paul Mitchell put him into the equation. He was also linked with the director's role. And Ed Woodward did say himself that he wanted to recommend a director of football in. Now, some Manchester United fans were saying early on in the season that maybe Solskjaer would be better as our director of football than our manager in that. But I don't believe, that is actually, true. So Solskjaer, has still got the backing of Ed Woodward, and he's also got the backing of the Glazers. And, the Glazers have been here since 2005. So, they've been here around 15 years now of the Glazers. And also, a lot of United fans have been doubting, the Glazers throughout the course of this season. And that. But yeah, so I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does deserve more time at Manchester United. He's been here nearly 16 months now. He's been permanent Manchester United manager for 12 months, so he's been permanent Man United manager for a year. And, analysing his tenure so far, like I mentioned, there has been ups and downs. Obviously, I've got to credit him, for the players that he's recommended in so far. Obviously, he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. So, you've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for that. We've seen around 9 players leave since he came in. Also, too, he's promoted the youth very, very well, because the young players have been given their opportunities this season. The likes of Mason Greenwood's been given his opportunities. Brandon Williams. Tuan Zebe did well earlier on in the season. But yeah, he's got a lot of trustworthy in his young players, so that's something, you have got to credit him for. Also, too, before the football season got suspended, we was in a good vein of form, because we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions, and that's our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. Also, too, I think a lot of players have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance, to be quite honest with you, so that's something else you can take as a positive. Also, too, he has progressed us to the FA Cup quarter-finals. He's also got us to the last 8 of the Europa League. So, there's a chance, we can get some silverware on the board when the season does eventually resume. And the season is going to resume on the 6th of June. But, it is going to be played behind closed doors. As it stands at the moment, we are sitting 5th in the Premier League. We are around 3 points behind Chelsea in the Premier League. But, so we can get qualification for the Champions League. We need Champions League football, so we can attract players to the elite level, because if I'm pretty sure we failed to qualify for the Champions League like 3 times out of the past 6 years or something like that, is it? So, yeah. But, I like, another thing I credit Solskjaer for, he's got a lot of honesty. He's very, very honest about things. And, he hasn't really got any... He's never really negative, is Solskjaer. So that's another thing, I do credit him for. But he's very, very confident, going into, the summer transfer market, when it does reopen. Because don't forget, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did recently say that, we will exploit the transfer market when it does reopen. And he's very, very convinced that we can get the right calibre players in. Because obviously, due to this coronavirus pandemic, a lot of teams are under financial pressure and across the world. And what that means is, teams will have to offload some of their players, to generate funds. So, yeah, very, very confident. And, Solskjaer, has identified the areas where he wants to strengthen up. Obviously, he wants to bring a striker in. He wants to bring a right winger in. He also wants to bring a midfielder in. I think he did mention, that he's interested in recommending a centre-half in. But like I said on my last video, I'm very, very sceptical that Man United will get a centre-half when the transfer window does reopen. But he agreed this with Mike Phelan back in September last year. The areas, where he wanted to strengthen up. He's also had a couple of meetings with Ed Woodward, discussing, his plans for the summer transfer window and that. So that is a positive. But Solskjaer, I believe, he wants to make around 4 signings when the transfer window reopens, because he believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders going on into next season. It said last week, didn't it, the other week, that our transfer budget has been revealed, and we're going to be given around £150 million to spend when the transfer window does reopen. The transfer budget will increase because Man United, are expected to sell around 5 or 6 players when the transfer window does reopen. So it is good, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is making plans. Obviously, he has been in regular contact with the players via the WhatsApp, because obviously, Premier League clubs are in lockdown and have obviously, been training in self-isolation and that. But like I said, we have enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. We've enjoyed our worst start for 30 years and that. And there's some negatives, you can take from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure. Since Solskjaer got the job permanently, his record has been disastrous. Totally comparison, to when he was the interim manager, because when he was the interim manager, he did really, really well. But towards the back end of last season, Solskjaer had lost 5 of his last 9 Premier League games. And he's aware of, the amount of pressure, that he has been under. Obviously, his approach to the games against the lower opposition, haven't been so good. So that's also a negative. But there again, his approach to the big games have been very, very good. He showed like a lot of tactical flexibility. He's had a plan A and he's had a plan B. And another negative is that, he is inexperienced as a manager. But, the longer Solskjaer remains in the managerial role at Man United, he's going to be gaining more managerial experience. Man United is the 3rd club he's managing in his managerial career. Obviously, before he came to us, he was at Mould and enjoyed a really, really good tenure with Mould, won a couple of Norwegian titles. Obviously, before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff, enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. He only managed around 29 games for Cardiff. The main explanation why he got sacked from Cardiff was, reflecting on how poor they were, Cardiff, and obviously, Cardiff had got relegated, and put into the equation, we were facing a relegation battle earlier on in the season. But don't forget as well, Solskjaer managed the Manchester United reserve team from 2008 to 2010. So you actually watch some of this team now at this day and age grow and develop. and that. But when Solskjaer first came in anyway, he did make promises, and obviously they've materialised, because he did say not only the young players, but he said every player in general, would get their opportunities to express themselves, and that's exactly what he has done. And we've had some big wins under Solskjaer. We had the 5-1 win against Cardiff, which was obviously his first game as Manchester United manager, and of course that was against his that was obviously the team he used to manage. We have obviously we've had other big wins. We had the 4-0 win against Chelsea on the opening day of this season. We had the 5-0 win against last game we played. We had the 5-0 win against Club Brugge in the previous round of the Europa League. We had the 4-1 win against Newcastle on Boxing Day, the 6-0 win against Tranmere in the FA Cup. So yeah, we've had some big wins under the Solskjaer era. I think the worst defeat we've enjoyed under the Solskjaer era was the 4-0 defeat to Everton last April, was it? After that game, Solskjaer had come out and apologised. But yeah, and Solskjaer's got around 2 years remaining on his contract now at Manchester United. He's on around £7.5 million a year. That's a big, massive increase in his wages from the ones when he was at Mould, because he was only on like £400,000 a year at Mould. But I still don't know if it's a long-term solution for Manchester United. But I think Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager next season. Of course, he knows if he's given another season at the club that he's got many expectations to exceed. The expectations will be a lot more going on into next season if he's still here, because I think our expectations next season will be to challenge for the title. Now, I'm not saying, Man United will win the title next season, but I definitely think we can challenge if we get the right players in. And I think, possibly we could win the Premier League within the next 2 to 3 years. I want us to win the Premier League again, because, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, and that is now 7 years ago. The last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. Don't forget, we are the most successful team in England. We have won the most titles. We've won 20 titles, 13 of them Premier Leagues. So we want to win the Premier League again. And as it stands at the moment, you've got City and Liverpool, of course, that are strides ahead of us. And I do believe, Liverpool are going to make more investment in the summer. City are going to try and make more investment in the summer. But yeah. But like I was reading yesterday, it does say that these are around 14 players on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. But the question is, which players will Manchester United sign? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed his transfer strategy, and obviously he does want to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United like he did do last summer and that. But yeah, I've got to say, we have really, really improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer. Obviously, we've recruited over 30 odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era, and we spent close to the £1 billion range on recruiting new players in. Obviously, when we had Moyes, we recruited 2 players under him. Moyes brought Fellaini and Juan Mata in. Fellaini's no longer here now, though, but Juan Mata still is at Manchester United. Obviously, under Louis van Gaal, he recruited a hell of a lot of players in, like I mentioned. He brought the likes of Schneiderlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Falcao, Di Maria, Daley Blind, Memphis Depay. He brought a hell of a lot of players in. But there again, Louis van Gaal got rid of a hell of a lot of players. He got rid of a lot of the players, that we had under the Alex Ferguson era. I think he got rid of around 20 odd players, did Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal enjoyed 2 years, was it, at Man United, and we did win the FA Cup under him. And obviously, under Jose Mourinho, we recommended 11 players in. And he spent around £400 million, and the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's. So take into account Solskjaer is inheriting the vast majority of them. Jose Mourinho enjoyed 2.5 years at Man United, won 2 trophies in his first season, but there's a couple of main explanations why it didn't work out under him, because obviously he had bad disputes with the top players such as Martial, Luke Shaw, Pogba and all that. Had bad disputes with the board, and obviously our board were just basically not recommending the signings that he wanted to recommend in. So these are the explanations why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho and that. But yeah, like I said, our recruitment's been poor for several years, and a hell of a lot of money's been invested into the football club. And not only that, We've got players on big contracts at the club. You've got De Gea on 375 grand a week. He's the highest paid goalkeeper in the world and the highest paid at the club. You've got Lingard on like over 100 grand a week. You've got Rashford on 200 grand a week. Martial on 200 odd grand a week. Pogba on 300 grand a week. Sanchez, on £400,000 a week. So we have got players on, big contracts at the football club. And, we know we're not in that commanding position, that we should be in. But hopefully, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can get Manchester United back being competitive. Now, I don't think, Solskjaer, will replicate Ferguson's legacy, but I don't think any manager will replicate Ferguson's legacy. Ferguson is one of the greatest managers of all time, one of the most decorated managers. Ferguson, of course, endured 26 or was it 27 years at Manchester United, and no one will last as long as Ferguson did. No one will ever manage Man United for 26 or 27 years from now on, I don't think. But we won the vast majority of our silverware under Alex Ferguson. But like I mentioned, didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. There's a lot of good managers out there. Like I said, Mourinho was a good manager back in the day, but now he's past his sell-by date. I think Carlo Ancelotti is a very, very good manager. He's got a very, very good pedigree behind him. Jurgen Klopp's a decent manager at Liverpool, but he didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool, like I mentioned. Pep Guardiola's a very, very good manager. But I just think, we should stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the time being, because it's not always about, getting the managers in with the proven pedigrees and that, to be quite honest with you. But like I've said, we haven't only had problems, with the management throughout the course of this season. But, some of the blame does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But he is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Now, obviously, on my recent videos that I've done today, I've been keeping up to date, of what's been going on the transfer news. Today, obviously, I give you the news, obviously, didn't I, on Kalidou Koulibaly, because reports were coming from the Italian newspaper Sport saying that, Man United have been in consistent contact with with Napoli's president over the availability of Kalidou Koulibaly. It also says that Man City and Paris Saint-Germain have also expressed their interest in the player. We've been relentlessly linked with Kalidou Koulibaly. If we were to get him on the board in the summer, we'd probably have to pay maybe in the 70 odd or 80 odd £million range. We'd have to probably make him one of our most expensive signings, and we'd probably have to make him the most expensive centre half in the world and that. I think Kalidou Koulibaly is a very, very good player, and obviously, it fueled speculation up last month, was it? Because he actually, told the Napoli president, that he wants to leave Napoli in the summer transfer window. Kalidou Koulibaly has remained loyal to Napoli for years. He's now into his 6th season with Napoli. He's got a contract with them until 2023, and I think is he 28 or 29 years of age. I think we had a few bids turned down for Kalidou Koulibaly last summer. City, of course, have been searching for a centre-half because Vincent Kompany left last summer. Also, too, they're looking for someone to go alongside Laporte, and Laporte's also been injured for Manchester City. So, like I said, would you take Koulibaly at Man United? Obviously, on my last video, I give you the news on Donny van de Beek from Ajax. There's a possibility chance, he could also come to Manchester United. Obviously, now I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jack Grealish. Now, Solskjaer has made an admission, and he did say, he wants Manchester United to sign Jack Grealish when the transfer window does reopen. Now, there's reports been emerging out saying that, reflecting on the coronavirus pandemic, we could actually get Jack Grealish on the cheap. So maybe we could get him for maybe 30, 40, maybe £50 million. But I think, Villa do remain ruthless over their valuation. Jack Grealish is expected to cost us around 60 or 70 million pounds. But there again, if Villa were to get relegated, then that'd be another, maybe that could be another reason, why we could get him on the cheap. But if Villa were to avoid relegation, then Grealish, would cost us around 60 or 70 million pounds. Now, I think, Grealish, does want to leave Aston Villa. Now, like I said to our preference is Grealish over James Maddison. And there's a couple of main explanations why our preference is Grealish over Maddison. Because, like I said, Grealish is a cheaper solution. Plus, I think he's more versatile. And, before the football season got suspended, he was actually not in better form than James Maddison, because James Maddison, I think, if we had to go in for Maddison, he's expected to cost us around maybe 90, maybe even £100 million. So, like I said, Jack Grealish is a cheaper solution. Darren Bent, believes Grealish will either join Man United, Tottenham or City when the transfer window does reopen. Don't forget, back in the summer of 2018, Tottenham came close to getting him for around £25 million. But like I said, Jack Grealish has remained loyal to Aston Villa for several years. He's spent the vast majority of his career with Aston Villa. Risen up their youth academy, being a Villa player since the age of 6, being in their senior squad since 2014. And, since then he's become an integral part of their team. And he has got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023 as Jack Grealish. And, obviously, reflecting on the incident with his Range Rover the other week, there was reports saying that maybe he's moved to Manchester United in the summer, may not materialise. But I can definitely see Jack Grealish leaving Villa. Even if Villa were to avoid relegation, that wouldn't be enough, to convince Jack Grealish to remain loyal to them. But he's 24 years of age, like I said, and he is predominantly an attacking midfielder. But like I said, I also like James Maddison a lot, don't get me wrong. Very, very good player, James Maddison. Well Premier League proven. James Maddison's a player that can create chances. Like he did last season, created more chances than any other player in the Premier League. But I'm very, very, sceptical that we'll get James Maddison. I've also, kept up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho. Obviously, Julia Lawrence, who's a European expert, he said it's a very, very high possibility that Sancho will join Manchester United in the summer. And, to be honest with you, let's put this into the equation. Sancho, if he comes to Manchester United, he could play a part in, Kane coming, because Jadon Sancho could actually, convince Harry Kane to come to the football club. As you all know already, Sancho's going to cost Man United at least £100 million. We'll probably have to end up paying around £120 million for the player. Borussia Dortmund have obviously come to accept the fact that Sancho wants to leave. So obviously, they've had a few players on their agenda who could replace him. Ferran Torres from Valencia. Don't forget, recently it said we was in for Ferran Torres because we're seeing him as an alternative to Jadon Sancho, don't forget. But I'd love Jadon Sancho at Manchester United, like I mentioned. And, like I said, he's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. And I think that's one of the main explanations why he wants to come to Manchester United, Sancho. But I'd be very, very excited about him coming in, playing alongside the likes of Rashford and Anthony Martial. I really, really would. But yeah, and it'd be also interesting to see, what striker, we can sign when the transfer window reopens. There's a good 4, maybe 5 strikers on our agenda. Like I said, there's Harry Kane on our agenda, Timo Werner, Moussa Dembele, Erling Haaland. I obviously, give you the news on Erling Haaland, didn't I, earlier on today. But yeah, definitely Manchester United do need a striker. Yes, we definitely do need a striker without a shadow of a doubt. But I think, the players, that we're going to get rid of in the summer. I think, we're definitely going to get rid of Phil Jones because, Phil Jones can't even get into the team now. Because like I said, we've got Maguire and Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves. And you've obviously, got Bay and Tuanzebe that are our backups. So, Jones, won't even get into the team. You've got Fosu Mentu that can play as a centre-half. Smalling, there's uncertainty over his future, but we need to get rid of Jones. Lingard and Pereira, they are 2 liabilities. I think, they're also on their way out of the football club. Lingard's found game time difficult since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. I've always said, Jesse Lingard's a squad player anyway. I think he's got like a year left now on his contract as Jesse Lingard. Pereira, he's found game time difficult, since Scott McTominay came back. Because I think since McTominay's come back, he's also done very, very well. But I think he's enjoyed a very, very good season anyway, in general, as McTominay. I think we'll get rid of Rojo on a permanent transfer. Sanchez, I think he's now set to stay. He's set to see out the remainder of his contract at Man United. And he's got a contract with the football club until 2022. I give you the news, didn't I, on Sanchez before? I give you the news on him, didn't I? And it actually, says that he's set to stay. Because obviously, he's refusing to take a pay cut. Because obviously, despite the fact that Sanchez is on loan at Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. I think we're still paying him around £300,000 a week, and Inter Milan like paying the other £100,000. Sanchez did enjoy a difficult 18 months with the football club, but there's people believe that, if he is to be given a second chance at Man United, he will succeed and he will exceed expectations and that. So some people believes he can rediscover the form that he showed at Barcelona and Arsenal if he was to come back to Manchester United and that. So probably now he's coming back. But around 5 or 6 players, will leave the football club when the transfer window does reopen. Yeah, yes it will and that. So that's mainly everything to update you with. And like I said, Dean Enton's expected to come back to Man United after his loan spell with Sheffield United, but I don't know if he is going to become our number one goalkeeper. We'll have to see. Pogba, he's also expected to leave the football club. I've already kept you up to date of what's been going on with Pogba. I give you the news, obviously, of him, responding to the criticism that I received from Graham Souness yesterday, didn't I? Obviously, he made an admission saying he was an Arsenal fan when he was younger and that. Pogba will go back to Juventus if he leaves. If he doesn't go back to Juventus, he will make a move to Real Madrid and that. So, yeah. But so like I said, Solskjaer does deserve more time at Manchester United. And like I said, regardless whether it works out for Solskjaer or not, we'll never forget what he's done for the football club. He won us a treble back in 1999. That's one of the club's greatest achievements. He's scored a hell of a lot of goals as a player, did Solskjaer. He enjoyed 11 years at Manchester United and he flourished under Ferguson's guidance. But we'll never forget what he has done for the football club. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes, on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.